So here we are at the Flecker Gardens, which is part of the Cairns Botanical Gardens, and we're going to just do a bit of a tour. We'll probably break it up into sections. This is what I call the showy part. There's plenty of other areas in the Botanic Gardens. This is the one that has your heliconias, gingers, and lots of landscaped areas with flowers as well as lots of greenery. So we've got spiral gingers here, and a lovely pink one. I'm not sure what that one is. They do have some names on some of them, but not. Some of the names are hidden away by the growth. This is really pretty. That's a jade vine. That's really lovely. It's so delicate. And I'm sure when you get a little bit of a breeze, it will just flutter in the breeze. So coming through here, beautiful gingers in here. Got one flower there that's fully open, and then you've got a few that you can see a bit further in that are just opening up. Very delicate pink. Looks like they start off very pale pink and then they go to a slightly darker pink as they mature, and you can see some lovely little red bracts. And the plant itself is quite tall. Coming back, I guess that would be roughly 3 meters tall. Lots of very mature plants in this Flecker garden. Some of them must be like 80 years old or more. I don't know how old the garden is. And walking through this, oh yeah, lovely gingers over behind in various stages of growth. And over here we can see some Heliconia flowers. They're all different shapes and sizes. So the last time I did a video, that was taken at the end of April. We're now in mid-June. So the flowers are going to be at different stages. We've had some rain this morning and yesterday. So everything looks nice and fresh. So this is the dry season, but they're still getting rain, a little bit of rain into the dry season. That's what the locals have been saying. So the plants still look pretty good. They don't look like they're going into that dry season mode completely. This is quite pretty. John's pointing out this one. So they're just starting to open up. Some more there. And I'm looking for the sign for that one, and it may be way under there somewhere, but I certainly can't see it. I'd be curious to know what that one's called. And then we've got a variegated ginger here. And this is an unusual type of palm. It's almost like a fern, and it's got some flowers in there, so I don't know whether that means it's a male plant with those sorts of flowers in the centre there. Another section where you've got more gingers. Unfortunately we can hear the machinery of the maintenance guys in the background, but we'll continue on. There's constant maintenance here, so fair enough. Look at this beautiful little flowering head. And again, this one doesn't have a label, so we've got no idea what it is, but these flower heads look so weird. John's pointing out some behind there. So that's pretty flowers, those red ones. And I like these spiral gingers, the way they decide when they want to do a bit of a twist and a turn. And as you're walking along, it's so funny, you're just constantly seeing a little leaf drop here and there. Look, there's a beautiful example of some gorgeous flowers. Video doesn't do it justice. because you've got this orange coming out, contrasting with the red. And nature makes its own little archway to walk under. Now, something caught my eye straight away. Across the other side of the path, got these huge hanging flowers, Heliconia, and these have got a bit of a twist to them. So, and they're furry. That's unusual. They're normally quite waxy looking. This lot is very furry. I'm not going to touch it because it could be quite irritating, and also there's horrible big ants on there which are probably going to give you a really nasty bite. So this one is called, we finally found a sign. So it's in the family, I believe, or genus Heliconiaceae, Heliconia xanthovillosa, cross with Heliconia regalis, and it's called Princess Lara. There's a bit of a reflection there. I can't get the angle right because of the sun's directly on it. And coming in again, look at it, the way it twists. So you're only seeing part of it at any angle. Magnificent. And again, another tall plant, like a lot of the Heliconias are. So panning back, yeah. That's the leaves, quite tall, and a few palm trees up there. And these look like a syngonium, like a giant syngonium arrowhead, but they're massive. Right, that's my hand. Weird. They're probably related. So just everywhere you look, beautiful plants. Some low to the ground and some just enormous. And you go right up into the sky. Yep. I don't know how many metres they are. This one's pretty weird. It's growing up a tree. Its branches look pretty much dead, but then that's probably a phase it goes through. And right towards the end of the branches it has these, and it looks like it's nearly finished its flowering. It's got these little bunches of flowers, and the individual flower itself is just beautiful. It's just so unusual. And it's probably all built for pollinating. So look at that structure in there, so weird. But you can see what I mean about it. They look like they're dead branches. And right next to it, a calathea of some sort. And the back of the leaves is quite stunning as well. Look at the markings there. And more heliconias along this part of the pathway, but none of them seem to be flowering, so they'll obviously flower. The good thing about what they've planted here is they've got different times of the year where different ones are flowering, so we're just seeing the ones that flower around this June period, and I'm sure there'll be some spectacular ones that flower in the summer wet season, etc. There's a few over there in that garden bed in the background.
Lovely, that. What's that?
Very lovely. The sun's shining behind them. Beautiful. John's amazed by all the heliconias. There's not a lot of flowering, but there's a lot of variety. And unfortunately, the sun's backlighting that one. This is right near the boundary fence boundary there. So I can't get around the other side, but lovely flowers. Such a variety as well. There's a bit of a gully on the left hand side. That's an older section, and that feels quite cool down there. We've been down there before. So continue on. Yeah. Oh, and the other thing John's amazed by how all these plants just find their ways into forks of trees and so on. So there's a bird's nest fern up quite high, and then a much larger one down lower, more towards ground level. And I like the way they just allow things to cascade over the pathways, and it looks like they're doing a bit of construction here, making sure we don't fall off the edge there. Look at this interesting growth in the fork of this plant, some sort of spiral ginger. So these ginger flowers grow straight out of the ground. And you can see this one's nearly finished its flowering. Most of them are gone. There's a couple that still have a fairly fresh look about them. Unusual colouring, sort of an orangey brown. Yep, we're going down towards the bottom of that little gully area they have, past some beautiful calatheas, and these are just naturalising under palms and so on, just spreading out, probably not being cared for much at all. It's getting quite dark in this area. Feels cooler already. Lovely leaf patterns all over the place. We're quite close to main roads and all that, planes going across, so there's going to be a bit of noise in this video. And then we've got this bamboo growing right up against the path. I think they've tried to concrete it in to stop it from spreading much further, even though it is a clumping bamboo. And that's the lady palm by the looks of it. Lots of them in a little grove planted along here. And I like the way that we can get above and below the plants, like looking up into them, and then you're looking down into some of them areas. I love these heliconias that are hanging down. Like, look at that one. And just a fraction of sun coming through, so it shows them off a bit. And you can see some rattlesnake ones around here as well. Like, look at that hanging down. Some of them are a little bit past it. Still very pretty, even when they're past it. And some of them hanging right over the pathway. So if you're not careful, you'll knock your head on it. Now we're descending right down towards the bottom of that little gully area. All these giant ferns. At the base of them you can see one coming up there in the middle to create a lovely dappled effect. It's nearly full shade down here, but there is a bit of sun, but it does feel quite a lot cooler down here because there's so many trees, large heliconias and so on, that are all providing that bit of shade. And there you go, you can sit right underneath that flower if you want to, and there, on the bench there, if you want to have a little rest. And these are nice. They look like a bit like peace lily. I'm guessing it's anthurium. I'm not sure if I've pronounced that right, but because their flowers look a little bit like a peace lily. And there's just a few scattered flowers through, and we've got some different bacchias along here. I've grown this one many years ago indoors. It never grew quite as tall as that, and these aren't that tall compared to some others they have around. Oh yes, you got that sort of curtain vine. So John's trying to point out. Oh, that. Yes, not sure what that is. This little creeper growing up that tree.
It is?
You got. Yeah. And every now and then you just see something backlit. It looks so nice. New growth. Yeah, some more. Just growing, not even in a fork of a tree. They're just anywhere. A straight palm, they'll still find a spot. Bird's nest ferns, and just go for it. Look, there's the watermelon peperomia, just growing like a weed down the bottom. It's nicely done. Like, there's paths, but they haven't made it too formal, so that you've got plants hanging down over the edges. And everywhere you look, there's openings, and you can see different plants. There's a oh yeah, that's a philodendron of some sort, I think.
Wow.
Going right up there, nearly choking that palm out. So we're both going, oh, look at that, look at that. Yes, it's a lot of things. Your head's kind of constantly swiveling and turning and going down a pathway, but you're looking left, looking right, you're looking ahead, you're looking up. You know, I think our neck muscles are getting a good workout today, if nothing else. And that's a really lovely palm up ahead. I think that's from Fiji, that one. Amazing that this is in the dry season, and yet it really, you wouldn't know it. So dry is like, for Adelaide, dry is no rain basically, and really hot weather in summer. So we're finishing off our part down in the gully, and we're going to make our way up again towards the top part. And while we were down in the bottom part, the sun came out. So back at the top area, we're going to feel a lot warmer. And the giant elephant ears. This is another one of John's favourites. I love it too, because the leaves are just enormous. Although this one's, yeah, not the biggest one we've seen, but compared to the elephant ears at home, though, it is big. There we go, that's more your normal size. So that would be what the size we'd grow at home, and then That's compared down here next to that one over there.